What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central. Number one place for everything Chicago Bears related or soon to be. Nonetheless, I'm the host here, Haize, holding it down for C-Dubb and Bobby. Getting into today's news. First up, we're going to be talking more about training camp. What's going on with the cornerback combinations that Matt Eberflus is experimenting with down there. Al-Quadin Muhammad as well got in some comments. We're going to talk about him and the sacks he would have had on Justin Fields already in training camp. And then last, we're going to end the show talking about Teven Jenkins, his history with the Chicago Bears, and possible trade packages the Chicago Bears could pursue when it comes to Teven Jenkins. We're going to get into all that and more on today's Chicago Bears Central.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
All right, Bears fans. So first up, apparently the Chicago Bears have been experimenting with different combinations at cornerback. So we've seen Gordon play almost exclusively at the nickel cornerback position, and then we've seen Jalen Johnson, Kendall Vildor being outside with Gordon in the slot as well. So as of right now, it seems like Matt Eberflus is trying to find the right combination of players at that cornerback position. Focus a lot around Johnson and Gordon, of course, on the outside, and then Teven Young has also done some in the slot as well, and with Gordon at nickel primarily. So a lot of moving around and moving pieces with that. Matt Eberflus said on this, and this is a direct quote, "It's like a puzzle. You're trying to fit it together and put the best guys out there, and is the combination of corners better than this combination? You have to look up matchups, so that's a week-to-week thing. Sometimes it might look different week to week, where it is based on a matchup situation we like, then by down and distance. You like the certain matchup better on third down in 2-minute situations than on first down or second down. So that's all encompassing." So I like the fact that Matt Eberflus is experimenting. It seems like he likes the cornerbacks there. He likes the versatility there to be able to play different people in the slot, different people at the nickel. With that being said, that could be something that really does make this secondary even more dangerous. I've said it before. I really do think this secondary is going to be a really solid secondary. I'm not really ready to rank it amongst the other secondaries in the NFL because I do think, we have to actually see it, especially with having two rookies out there starting, things like that. But I do think that if this secondary plays the way that we think that they can play, it can very much boost the Chicago Bears defense more than what we were initially thinking maybe that they're going to be. We know that the defense has been on a consistent slide. We want to see Matt Eberflus even that out, and then, of course, make improvements on that where he can as well. We already know Brisker, Gordon in that secondary are going to be huge, but specifically at the cornerback position, when you're looking at Gordon, when you're looking at the fact that Gordon's been almost primarily at the nickel, they're trying to find the best fit for him in the position that's going to fit him best. But the key thing is that he's out there, right? We know that he, as a rookie, is going to have every opportunity for Kyle Gordon to sit there and come out and do things. And his attitude is right. The mindset is right. His activity level is right. Everything's right when it comes to Gordon. So Eberflus putting that time, effort into him. When we talk about somebody like Matt Nagy, really, I think, hurt the confidence of young players early on. Matt Eberflus on the other hand, and then I know, it's the first season, so it's going to be a lot of comparisons there with the difference in coaching styles, but he's really empowering and trying to find the best situations to not only for those rookies to succeed, but to build their confidence, which is going to pay dividends later in their careers as well. So now when you look at which grouping is better, having Young in the slot or Vildor out on the outside, it's really just going to come up to what the coaching staff decides. And as Eberflus said in that quote that I read, it really may change down to down, situation to situation, and game to game. But the fact of the matter is that he's trusting this cornerback combinations right now, and he's trying to put them in the best situation. Let me know down below, what do you think about Matt Eberflus's comments on that one? To get into more comments, Al-Quadin Muhammad was actually asked how many sacks would he have had at practice so far on Justin Fields, and he said a couple. And then it was mentioned that it would be more about 3 right now. He's coming in. We know that he is now that we know Robert Quinn is there, and good shout out to him there. Is that it's really going to come down to Al-Quadin Muhammad if he ends up winning that position battle to be on the opposite end of Robert Quinn. Now, I do think he is. When you look at his career highs last year of 6 sacks, 13 QB hits, 48 total tackles, he knows Matt Eberflus' system coming over with him from Indianapolis. So, he's going to get a bunch of opportunities, but can he win that position battle over Travis Gibson is the biggest question there. And as it seems like he's shining right now in training camp now, of course, preseason and things like that. And It's only the first week of training camp. They're putting on pads today. Is really going to determine how that position battle ends up going. But I do think right now that Al-Quadin Muhammad, because of the things that we've already mentioned, has the inside edge probably to be that opposite on the opposite end of Robert Quinn. Now, let me know what you guys think about that one down below. Now, with Robert Quinn, do you think that would you rather see Muhammad there next to him, or do you think it's going to be Gibson who ends up winning that position battle? I don't really think the Bears could go wrong at either position, in my opinion. Now, of course, I say that, but anything's possible. This is football. We know that anything can happen, but I do like Muhammad's chances to end up walking away with that other starting defensive end position, and I think the Bears will be better off for it as well. But let me know what you guys think about that one down below. Now, before we get into anything else, I do want to get into some Teven Jenkins possible trade destinations, and we're going to end this show on. But we got to still talk about Roquan Smith and what's going on there. We still do not have a resolution yet. He is in the building as of right now. He's watching tape. He's doing things like that. Matt Eberflus has even said, "Hey, I'm staying out of it. I basically don't have any role in that. That's for them to work out." But again, as you guys know, every episode I do until he's signed, I'm saying pay that man. Now, after doing some research, it seems like the highest paid linebacker in the NFL is getting paid about $19.7 million per year. So, what are the Bears offering? Because we've heard that they are still very, very far away. Roquan Smith is worth being the highest paid linebacker in the NFL to me. I would $20 million, $22 million is not anything that I personally would shy away from, but they pay people who are supposed to be a lot smarter than me to make these decisions. So again, I'm here as a content creator. I'm not a capologist or anything like that, but I look at it and I think, and I've said this before, is that my mindset is, okay, if you were to let Roquan walk, what are you going to replace him on? Or another way that I would look at it, if Roquan Smith was an unrestricted free agent on the market and you were in contract negotiations with him, if he wasn't your own guy, what would come of it? What would you offer him? I'm offering him to be the highest paid linebacker. I've already said that. So I'm really hoping that Ryan Poles is not lowballing him and offering him something like a $15 million deal. Now, I know some people would say, hey, he should take it. But my thinking of this is you want to take care of your own guys, especially I understand protecting cap space and future cap flexibility like that. But do you think people are really going to be keen in on coming to the Chicago Bears if we're not treating a player like Roquan Smith, our own guy, correctly? We can't nickel and dime. I'm not saying that's what Ryan Poles is doing. I don't know. Nothing has really come out as far as what they're offering him other than they're still far away from a deal. But in my opinion, this deal needs to get done 2 weeks ago. It should not be any question. Get that man paid. Get him in this building. Well, he's in the building because he's on the PUP list. But get him here. Get him locked in. And let's just continue going. Roquan Smith is somebody you want to build your defense around. Pay that man. Get him his money. It's simple. It doesn't take a lot of thinking. It doesn't take rocket science to figure that out. You pay the man, and then hopefully they work out this deal sooner rather than later. And the moment that a deal is announced, we'll be dropping an episode, whether it's me, Bobby, C-Dubb, somebody will be on camera in front of you guys the moment Roquan Smith signs that new deal. But all right, let's go ahead and move on with that one. I'm sorry. Every time Roquan comes up, you're going to get a little bit of a rant from me. But let's talk about Teven Jenkins, right? And I know after the news came out, a lot of people in the comments, it's of two minds. It's the people that think, hey, the Bears are making the wrong decision here, potentially shopping this guy and moving him on before you really get a chance to take a look at him. And for that, I say this, right? This new regime has no attachments to people who haven't proven themselves yet, for one, and who were drafted by the previous front office. Teven Jenkins, unfortunately, fits that. He has not proven himself yet. Outside of the time that he hit that block when Justin Fields was out of bounds and got a little chippy, he did get flagged for it. Outside of that, he really hasn't done anything to endear himself to the Chicago Bears fan base. Yes, he's a former second-round pick who does still have a lot of potential. Let me be clear here, right? Haize, the podcaster, would bet on the potential of Teven Jenkins. I would like to see him stay on this team. I'm speaking strictly from the mindset of the front office. They are not attached to this guy. If he and I've said before, maybe some of the rookies that they draft, the offensive lineman rookies that they've drafted, they're taking a look at it and saying, hey, there's not much difference between here and Teven Jenkins. And even though Teven Jenkins has $1.5 million guaranteed on his contract, is not a huge amount. maybe they're looking at it and saying, hey, these guys are better controlled cap-wise, right? Where cap flexibility being thing for this. They're not that far off from what we're seeing from Teven Jenkins, and we don't know if Teven Jenkins is going to be able to stay healthy. I don't want to see Teven Jenkins' talent wasted, and I do hope that he's able to. That I would have wished that he was able to stay on this team. It seems like this front office is going in a different direction. They're not willing to wait to see if Teven Jenkins can stay healthy. And then when you hear about the things and the disagreements with the coaching staff and the disconnect there, all of those things point to unfortunately moving on from Teven Jenkins and hopefully moving him into a team that's better equipped to take him, better equipped for him to go through what he needs to go through there. And the Bears are prepared to move on. Now, again, that's not me saying I agree with it, but I understand it. Agreeance and understanding are two different things. I can understand something without agreeing with it. I don't agree with that. I would want to see Teven Jenkins stay here. But again, I'm not paid to make those decisions. But with that being what it is and the conversation be what it is around Teven Jenkins, I want to talk about potential trade deals for Teven Jenkins. And so two of these really are kind of pie in the sky ideas. And then the last few are more realistic. So I got 5 trade ideas for Teven Jenkins, 2 being less realistic, and then 3 being more realistic. So this first one is Teven Jenkins being traded to the Tampa Bay Bucks for a 3rd rounder. Now, why would the Bucks do this? 3rd rounder, yes, is high. A lot of guys in the comments mentioned, and rightfully so, that the Bears would be lucky to get a 4th, 5th round pick. But keep in mind, as good as the Bucks project to be, a 3rd rounder from the Bucks is basically like a 4th rounder from other teams. So with that being said, could the Bears could move Teven Jenkins for that 3rd round pick, which would be a huge win for the Bears, considering they drafted him with a 2nd round pick. It's not a high-end 3rd round pick. Let's be clear here, right? It's not a high-end, but it could be something that definitely helps him a lot. Teven Jenkins does have skill. While, the injuries and things have held him back, the Bucks could look at this as somebody that could come in and help them with the role. Now, again, is this more pie in the sky? Yes. He did work out for Tampa Bay as well. He could provide a lot of depth for them in protecting Tom Brady. He wouldn't necessarily go in and be a starter, but is this and the potential of a Teven Jenkins worth a 3rd rounder to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? That's the biggest question there. Now, this next one is more of a risky type deal, and this is trying to turn the Teven Jenkins situation into more of an overall, I wouldn't say blockbuster, but a bigger deal than what it would be just trading Teven Jenkins alone. In this one, I'm saying let's move Teven Jenkins and a future 2nd round pick to the Falcons for Justin Schaefer and a future 4th rounder. Now, again, this sends Teven Jenkins to Ryan Pace, the person who drafted him, who saw that potential in him. So if he does still see that in Teven Jenkins, he may be willing to part with that. Now, Justin Schaefer is a 6th round pick in just this past draft out of Georgia. But again, he's coming in as a backup at that left guard position, and the Bears can give him a better chance to maybe be a starter here. So yes, the Bears and the Falcons swap draft picks in this. The Bears move down to the 4th round, and the Falcons move up to add another 2nd rounder. But hey, is the potential there big enough? Now, again, those are the pie in the sky ones. Let's get into the more realistic deals. I'm looking at the Miami Dolphins as being a trade destination for Teven Jenkins for a 2023 5th round pick. Again, as the Miami Dolphins have already added 2 new starters to their offensive line this season, right? They could take a flyer on an offensive lineman, not heavy money built into him as well. Again, giving us that 5th round pick. Now, that is not the type of deals that I talked about before, but it is possible. Also, for another 2023 5th round pick, I'm looking at the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, I'm looking at a 5th round pick kind of being what we can get for Teven Jenkins. And in these deals, is another one, Las Vegas Raiders. Could we move Teven Jenkins to the Las Vegas Raiders for that 5th round pick? I'm looking at this as some of the things that the Bears could get back as well. Dallas Cowboys could be on that list as well for a 2023 6th round pick. So again, just kind of some ideas on what the Bears could look at in the open market for Teven Jenkins. Let me know what you guys think about that one down below. I know you guys are probably going to disagree with me on that one, but that is it for today's episode. Unless some news drops for Chicago Bears Central, thank you for being in tune with us, man. I appreciate it so much. You can follow the show at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave us a text and our voicemail, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. Thank you for being the best part of Chicago Bears Central. I'm Haize. Make sure you bear down. Peace, y'all.
This has
has been a presentation of the Break Media.